Hi guys, could you please confirm that you can hear me well? Great, thank you, Sophie. Thank you, Anis. We will start in 1 minute, just giving them a chance to join.
Who the fuck is this dude? Oh, thank God there's loads of people.
Could you please mute your mic? Yeah, I think it's time to start. Today we will talk about blood vessels, arteries, veins, capillaries. We have finished the part of the heart and circulation. What we mentioned last session that the heart is the engine of the circulatory system, and we mentioned that we have four chambers. Right side contains the right atrium and right ventricle, and the left side of the heart contains the left atrium and left ventricle. We also mentioned that we will use an abbreviation RVAVA, LVAVA, which summing up everything related to the circulation inside the heart. And we mentioned that we have, from the right side, blood will be collected by the largest vein, which is vena cava, to the right atrium. Then valves will open to pass all of the blood to the right ventricle. After that, blood will go to the lungs for gas exchange through the pulmonary artery. Gas exchange happened, and we named this part of circulation pulmonary circulation. And the blood will return back to the heart. That's why we named it as double circulatory system or double circulation in the human body, because the blood will pass through the heart twice, not only once. Blood returned back to the left side of the heart through the pulmonary vein. From the pulmonary vein to the left atrium, then valves will open to send the blood to the left ventricle. From the left ventricle, heart will pump, or the ventricles will pump in order to send the oxygenated blood through the largest artery, named aorta, to the rest of the body. So we will talk about what makes up the circulatory system. Okay, and according to the level of organization, don't worry, don't panic at all. There is no need to memorize everything in this slide. But we have to understand that the organ system, which is the circulatory system, give a chance or a permission to the blood to circulate and transport all of the nutrients. Nutrients like what? Like amino acid, like oxygen, like ions, carbon dioxide, hormones, also the living part or the cellular part in the blood, such as red blood cells, white blood cells, and platelets. This will provide a healthy conditions, guys, in this body or in any particular body. Because now, if we focused on every single function for the minerals, for glucose, for the amino acids, for even to get rid of waste product through the blood, blood will take it to the kidney, for example, to filter the blood. So without the blood, we cannot get rid of the waste product. Hormones are transported through the blood plasma. So without blood, we cannot deliver some hormones to the target organs. Also, the white blood cells and their role, the basic role of the defense action of the white blood cells, the role of the red blood cells in transporting all of the oxygen to the respiring tissues, taking carbon dioxide back or diffused out from the respiring tissue through the blood as well. Maintenance of homeostasis, and imagine even the heat will be maintained by the blood or fluid parts of the body. Temperature, pH. When we have, this is an extra addition, but I'm happy to clarify this for you. The brain will sense definitely if we have low pH, if we have more carbon dioxide. This means carbon dioxide is an acidic oxide. This means like the brain will sense that we have low pH, and this might damage or has a great effect or negative impact on all of the body organs. Consequently, the brain will give an order to the breathing system and to the heart to pump more blood and to breathe more to increase the body. Other than this, your blood medium will be acidic, and this is not acceptable in the body at all because it might damage some of body tissues and organs. The following table ready to fill in using information of the following slide. So this might take 2 minutes in order to write down or to copy the table in your copybook or to draw this table in your copybook. I will give you a couple of minutes and we will explain after the explanation on the next slide. We will explain what is the difference between arteries, veins, and capillaries. Finally, I will ask you to fill in this table. So could you please draw this table in your copybook and let me know when you finish? Please try to finish in maximum 1 minute. Last time we mentioned that the basic components of the circulatory system are the heart, blood, and blood vessels. The heart, blood, and blood vessels. Now it's time to talk about different types of blood vessels in the body. Have you finished drawing, guys? Shall we move to the next slide? Could you please text me in the chat box? Surayan, thank you, Sumaya. Andrea done? Okay, perfect. Let's go to the explanation slide, and then I will ask you to fill in the table. The first type of blood vessel is the artery, and you will be able to compare between the artery and the vein after the explanation of this slide and the next slide. Arteries generally take the blood away from the heart. So blood flows away from hearts in arteries. As you can see, we have a thick layer of elastic and muscle fibers, and we have narrow lumen. This is called narrow tube or narrow lumen. Why? Because we need the blood is to go under high pressure, so the lumen that pass all of the blood is really narrow. So the heart usually send the blood through arteries under high pressure in each beat. And we need, because we are talking, Ryan, about high blood pressure, we need a structure to withstand this sudden increase in pressure. So the a wave of stretching then passes along the walls, and that's what we feel in the pulsation process. We have a lot of muscle structure, we have thick layer of elastic fiber, and this is allow the elasticity of the artery to increase and to make the blood flow much more smoothly. So simply, what I want you to know from this diagram, that we have thick layer of muscle, thick layer of elastic fiber, and we have narrow lumen. As an extended part, this layer is an endothelial layer. This is just lining, because as we go, or as the blood flow through the artery, we need a kind of lining in order to protect the inner part of the artery. Okay, let's go to the next slide. The next type of blood vessel is the capillaries. So in order to imagine the situation, we have largest artery from the heart, then it will divide or split it into small arteries, then small arterioles, and it ends up with the blood capillaries. The blood capillaries are very thin. We are naming the blood capillaries as one cell thick structure. So it has very thin membrane to allow faster diffusion of substances into and out of the capillary. So I'm sorry, guys, this is cell membrane. This is just a typo error. This is cell membrane. The cell membrane is very thin to allow faster diffusion of the substance. This is the point of connection between the respiring tissue and the blood. So this is the end point of the circulation, and by diffusion, it will diffuse in all of the useful substance and diffuse out or take out all of the waste product from the tissue. That's why capillary is considered as a fine network running through the tissue. In the exam, Ryan, he will not ask you to compare any structure between the arteries and capillaries, because capillaries are one cell thick structure and it allows faster diffusion, and that's it, nothing else. But if he wants to compare, he will ask you to compare between arteries and veins. Veins has wide tube, or as we said, wide lumen. It has thin or flexible wall, and the blood flows under low pressure, because this is just to collect all of the deoxygenated blood to the heart. So no need to send the blood under high pressure. Blood flows under low pressure in veins. We have also one structure inside the vein which called valves. This is another difference I'm telling you some of the points that you will use to fill in the table. Valves. Uh, what is the main function of valves? Could you please text me? That's what we said last session. What is the main function of valves? Prevents what? Prevents what of blood? Prevents backflow of blood, Sophie, uh, to ensure that the blood, exactly, Ryan, backflow of blood to ensure that the blood is going in one direction. The structure, Sophie, in the heart prevents mixing of blood called septum. I think you might got confused between septum and valves. Anyways, I know that you know the answer definitely. It prevents, Sumaya, exactly. It prevents the blood from going backward or in the opposite direction. All of these are perfectly fine. And this is the same function of the valves inside the vein to make sure that the blood is going in one direction. That's it. Okay. So now, structure-wise, some of you might ask, sir, do we have same layering as arteries? Yes, but all of the layers are thinner than the arteries because there is no need for a thick layer in the vein. So veins has muscle. Yes, it has muscle structure or muscular structure. It has fibrous tissue or elastic fiber. Yes, but the thickness of this structure is really thin. Okay. So we have mentioned now the main function of the valves, and as we said, it prevents backflow of blood or prevents how the blood is going, or to make sure that the blood is going in one direction. And this is under the help of the skeletal muscles, like when muscle contracts, blood is going, the vein will be squeezed and the blood is going in one direction. When the muscle relax, valves will be closed and this will prevent the backflow of blood. Okay, this is the artery, and this is the example of the capillaries. And here we have all of the arteries carry oxygenated blood except the pulmonary artery. All of the veins carry deoxygenated blood except the pulmonary vein. So the pulmonary artery, this is the pulmonary artery, carry deoxygenated blood, and the pulmonary vein, this one, carry the oxygenated blood back to the heart. Okay, that's it. So now I want you to go back to your table, and it should take 3 minutes maximum. When you finish, guys, please let me know. Great, Sophie. Thank you so much. Thank you, Sumaya. Please confirm that you have finished the table and thank you, Andrea. And there is no problem, because if there is no problem to fill in the table, I will move to another slide. If there is a problem, I will answer you through the chat box or in the lesson, I mean. Rayandan, Rakandan, yeah, great. So could you please continue answering those questions? We can write in the chat box directly. Let's start by the first one. What is the role of arteries? Exactly, to carry the blood away from the heart. Look, Sophie, transport. If you want to write this, this will be perfectly fine, but we have to write except the pulmonary artery, because the pulmonary artery carry the deoxygenated blood. So I can say to carry blood away from the heart, and this is a general answer, because even the pulmonary artery carry the blood away from the heart. Rakan, carry oxygenated blood from the heart except the pulmonary artery. Same idea, okay? Except the pulmonary artery, because pulmonary artery take the blood away from the heart, but in a deoxygenation or deoxygenated form. You got it? Let's go to the next question. How are veins and arteries different in their jobs and structure? I think that's what we answered in the table. How does blood flow smoothly through your arteries? Could you please answer question number 3? How does blood flow smoothly through your answer? What? Through your arteries. Let's talk about the structure of the artery and how this structure enable the movement um, smoothly through the arteries. Waiting for your response. Let me check the answers. So what's in the arteries? No, valves not in the arteries, Alison. Valves in the veins. not in the arteries. So you need to talk about here, you need to talk about the structure. You need to talk about the structure. So the thick muscular wall withstands the blood pressure, and we have elastic fiber to increase the flexibility, or the we can say the elasticity of the valves of the arteries. So please talk about the structure, not about the function in the arteries. Exactly. The walls are thick, it's okay, Sumaya. But if the question is out of 2 or 3 marks, I want you to talk about the endothelial layer and the elastic fiber, or the elastic layer, to increase elasticity, and the blood will move smoothly. All of these information found in the presentation, so you can definitely check this when Sarah sends you the presentation. Last question. How is the surface area for exchange of substance so large in tissues, and why? How the surface area for exchange of substances so large in tissues. I think you need to talk about the other type of blood vessel. We have mentioned everything about arteries, about veins, so it's time to talk about blood capillaries. So could you please text me with your idea about the blood capillaries and how the blood capillaries increase the surface area for sending the material, or for gas, for exchange of substances between blood and the respiring tissues. Now I have an answer. A lot of blood capillaries, and they are one cell thick. It is a tight network, so this will increase the rate of diffusion of substance such as oxygen. This is a full mark answer. Thank you so much, Sophie. So your answer is perfectly fine, Ryan, but I want you to write more. You have mentioned a lot of them, but talk about the structure, talk about the network, and you did not answer why. So you should mention that this will allow the diffusion, okay, or high rate of diffusion for the rest of the chemical substance, such as glucose, such as mineral ions, such as hormones sometimes, and oxygen as well. Okay, let's go check the answers. If you want to take a screenshot for the answers, please do. And this is the answer for the other 2 questions. Please take a photo for this answer. My question is, this is the last part, or the last star in the 3 stars of the circulatory system. We have mentioned blood and the heart and circulation. We have mentioned now the blood vessels and the major role of each blood vessel in transporting blood to the body or from the body. And now we need to talk about the heart. How much blood do you think is in the human body? Could you please text me? How much blood? How many liters that we have? Try to guess. Sophie, this is a lot. Sumaya, perfect. Rakan, perfect. Okay, so It's around 5 liters, or I can say I will go for from 5 to 6 liters. This is fine. Um, the part of the blood, like imagine, biologists imagined that the blood is a liquid part of the body, but recently in our biology books, we realized that the blood is a type of connective tissue. So it has a lot of cells, and based on the definition of a tissue, um, it is a group of cells working together. So we can say that the blood is a tissue because it has red blood cells, it has white blood cells, and platelets. However, it has a lot of solutes in a liquid called the plasma. So the main component of the blood is part cells and part fluid or plasma part. Okay, so let's start with the, uh, the centrifuge, and this is the method, or this is the instrument that we are using to separate the fluid part of the blood and the cellular part. Imagine that we have this yellow plasma or yellowish liquid in our blood. You thought like the blood, maybe some of you thought our blood is always red, but actually we have this yellowish fluid, and it contains a lot of chemicals. It contains glucose, it contains a lot of lipids, it contains hormones, it contains even the waste product before filtering the blood through the kidney. And also of the part of the cells contains different types of cells. So in front of you, different types of cells. This type of cell, which is the biconcave cell or biconcave disc, this type of cells, all these types of cells are the red blood cells. And those nucleated cells are the white blood cells. Okay, so yes, exactly. So we have red blood cells, and this red blood cells has no nucleus to provide large surface area for hemoglobin, and this is to transport more oxygen. We have also white blood cells. The white blood cells are two types in front of us. They are more than two, but we can see two types of them. Lymphocytes, and this one is the lymphocytes. And this one called phagocytes. So we have lymphocyte and phagocytes. Both are different types of white blood cells. Let's see the difference in structure. Um, so as I told you, we have a lot of white blood cells. There is a layer here called white blood cells and platelets. Platelets, guys, are just fragments of cells, and it has a basic role in blood clot. So the blood clotting formation happens under the effect of platelets. Without platelets, if you have any kind of surgical operation or God bless you all, any accidents or even paper cut while studying, you might be suffering from massive bleeding. So platelets helps in this. The red blood cells, this is for transport of oxygen. And in the plasma, we have a lot. We have water, and the percentage, high percentage is water. We have ions, we have proteins, we have nutrients, all of the nutrients found in the liquid part. So I mean, to cut it short, all of the chemical substance dissolved in the plasma or found in the plasma, even wastes and gases, even wastes and gases, all of these found in the plasma. Let's take a look on every single um, type, and I think there is no question this. Red blood cell called erythrocytes, and we have a lot of red blood cells, like 5 million per cubic millimeter of blood. What is the function of red blood cells? That's what we mentioned. Explain how they are well adapted to this function. They have hemoglobin and are biconcave shape, and they have no nucleus. Could you please take a photo for this slide? This is the plasma part. And as I told you, there is no need to explain anything in this slide. That's what we mentioned. And the white blood cells are different types, phagocytes and lymphocytes. Very important to know that white blood cells has a nucleus. If it is big, large nucleus like this is the lymphocyte. If it is loop the nucleus like this is the phagocyte. Those are the fragments of cells, as I told you, 25,000 per cubic millimeter of blood. And they are tiny fragments of cells. They have no nuclei, and they produce substance, helps in blood clot. Decide whether the statements are true or false. This could take 4 minutes maximum because I want you to correct the false ones. Let's start. Let's start clockwise or zigzag shaped from this side. Red blood cells have a small nucleus to make room for hemoglobin. What do you think? This is false. I'm sorry, I pressed twice. This is false. It has no nucleus. Another one. So I'm just waiting for your answer. Valves are used to ensure backflow of blood. What do you think? Rakan answered this, Sophie answered this. So what do you think? It's definitely false because to prevent backflow of blood will be right. Platelets. Just a second, I can see. Yeah. Platelets clothe the blood. What do you think about this one? Yes, exactly, Rakan. What do you think about this one? Platelets clothe the blood. Exactly, Rakan. This is definitely right. Okay. Another one, lymphocytes produced antibodies. We did not mention this in our explanation, but yes, lymphocytes produced antibodies. The main function of lymphocytes is to produce antibodies. Wow, Rakan answered this, and Sophie, this means that you have this kind of information. Capillary wall are only 2 cells thick. What do you think? Is it 2 cells thick or what? Exactly, exactly. It's wrong and it is 1 cell thick. Let's go to this one. Veins have a thin and flexible wall. Exactly, exactly. True, true. This is right. Another one. Low pressure blood. What do you think? I don't want to read it because this will clarify the answer. Is it low pressure? Exactly, this is wrong because we are talking about high blood pressure. The only cells in blood are red blood cells. I think this is the easiest one. Plasma is a straw-colored liquid. It is a yellowish liquid. It is. Yeah, true. True. It is. Okay, so this is nice. Let's go to the last part, which is the exam questions. And I will give you time to answer this question also in the chat box, please. Arteries and veins have different structures and different functions. Explain how the different structure of arteries and veins relate, to their different functions. So you need to talk about the structure of arteries and the function, the structure of veins and the function. This is 6 marks answer, and I want you to make sure that you wrote 6 points. I will turn the camera off because I want to rotate the screen. I can see two answers from Rakan and Sufi. Both are perfectly fine. Just to save time, guys, I want to show you the marking scheme of this. Take a photo for this if you want, and I want you to read every single point in front of you and to let me know if there is a point you cannot understand or there is a complicated idea for the structure of the vein and the structure of the artery. No questions? Everything is fine? Okay. Another question. I want you to complete the table below by writing the type or the part of the blood and the function, the missing parts, I mean, in the question. Carries oxygen around the body. This is that. Protects the body against infection. This is that. And what is the main function of the plasma? It carries nutrients, water, salts, ions, etc., etc., etc. Platelets are fragments of cells. Platelets help to the blood to clot. Suggest what might happen if the blood did not clot, and this is 1 mark answer. That's what I mentioned during the explanation. Exactly. Bleeding, or you might bleed for a long time. Exactly. Or you might lose a lot of blood. This is okay. Another question. A comparison is made between blood taken from an artery in the leg and blood taken from a vein in the leg. Give 2 differences in the composition of the blood. Take care and read the question to the last part. In the composition of the blood. It's not a matter of having pathogens or not, Rakan. The idea in the composition of the blood in the artery and in the vein. It has more oxygen, more carbon dioxide, oxygenated, deoxygenated. This is the idea. Yeah. Okay, okay. But look, for the idea of the blood clot, I think it will be totally direct if you mention something about bleeding, but anyways, it's okay because the pathogens might enter. Yep, this is perfect. I'm totally okay with it. Artery has more oxygen, more glucose, more amino acids. Veins has more carbon dioxide, maybe more lactic acid. And that's it, because he's talking about um, arteries, components of blood in arteries and veins. Let's go to this question. Name the types of blood labeled F, G, and H. Blood vessel, sorry. What's F? Is it artery, vein, capillaries? What's G? Arteries, veins, capillaries. What's H? Arteries, veins, capillaries. So you can just write the 3 of them directly. Exactly, Sophie. Artery, no, Rakan. F is an artery. It takes the blood to the cell, to the respiring tissue. So you should switch the location of artery and vein. Okay, so yeah, so F is the artery, G is the capillary, and H is the vein. Let's go to question double I. Give one way in which the composition of the blood in vessel F, and that's what we answered, about the difference of the component in arteries and veins. Now we have covered the presentation of today. Let me share with you the one of the exam questions or two we might answer, and we will continue answering this next time. Am I sharing with you the sheet right now, guys? Can you see the Word document? Could you please confirm? Yeah, great. Okay, so no need to label anyone, but I want you all to answer with me. This is the first question. Bacteria can cause a variety of diseases in humans. As you know well, we cannot split the questions 100% to take some questions on arteries, veins, capillaries, and the components of blood. But let's go through answering the questions because now we can say this is a recap on the previous topics. What are two similarities between bacterial cell and animal cell? He wants you to tick two boxes. Yeah, both have cell membrane, definitely. So we will take the first one. And what else? The fourth one, or the cytoplasm? Exactly, this is the second one. Salmonella food poisoning is caused by bacteria in food. Give one symptom of salmonella food poisoning. We don't refer to vomiting or diarrhea in your answer. Any other symptoms? Nausea is perfect. What is the name of the first antibiotic developed? Penicillin, perfect. Perfect. So Sumaya and Sophie are stars today. Ryan and Rakan as well answered a lot of questions. Let's go to... No need to answer this question? Yeah, we need to answer this question. Figure 2 shows blood viewed under microscope, and a vaccine will stimulate the production of antibodies. Which part of the blood produces antibodies? Which part of the blood produces antibodies, guys? Yeah, so I want you to pick, Sophie, the letter from the diagram. A is the red blood cells. C is the plasma. D are platelets. And B, the lymphocytes. The lymphocyte, that's what I told you guys. White blood cell has a big fat nucleus inside. So the answer is B. Which part start the clotting process? As I mentioned, now the answer is D. Question 2. What is the name of the enzyme that digests starch? The name of the enzyme that digests starch from the digestive system lesson. Where are most food molecules absorbed? Exactly, small intestine. This is the structure of the villi and the microvilli as well. He wants you to give one advantage of using an electron microscope compared with using a light microscope. Just one advantage. I think the best advantage that it has high resolution, so it might show us the internal structure of some tissues. More accurate, yes, Anis, yes, exactly. High resolution, exactly. Higher magnification, wow. All of the answers are perfectly fine. What type of blood vessel is labeled X? What type of these blood vessels? Those are arteries, veins, or capillaries. Capillaries, Sumaya. Yes, Sufi. Yeah, capillary. Okay. Now there is a question about magnification. Could you please calculate it? Um, calculate the image length and let me know. So he's giving you the actual one, and the formula is I am formula, and he wants the image length. So you will multiply the actual times the magnification. So 0.8 times 20. What is the image length, please? Did you calculate it, guys? 16. Okay, perfect. 16. I'm not that good in math. I'm sorry. That's why I will totally depends on you. Great. And if I have anyone loves math here, he will not be my friend anymore. I don't like it. Okay. Figure 2 shows two cells from the surface of a vellus. There are sugar molecules inside and next to each cell. Name the process by which sugar moves into cell A. Sugar will move by a process called what? What is the name of the process? Diffusion. Perfect. Diffusion. Name the process by which sugar moves into cell B. From low to high. From low to high. What is the name of the process? Elias, exactly. I did not hear from you for a while now, but this is an active transport. Great job. Give one use of sugar in the cell. I can say this is the molecule that provides us with energy or helps in respiration, and that's it. There is a question here, but I will answer this question of the line next time. Quickly, in 2 minutes, we can answer question 3, guys. I feel like we can do it. What is structure A? Structure A is a cell membrane. White blood cells help to defend the body against pathogens. How do the white blood cells do this? I want you to tick 3 boxes. Still, we have here 2 choices. Okay, so at least from this page, I say engulf pathogens and produce antibodies. Please don't be confused between antibodies and antibiotics, please. Antibodies here. And the last one is produce antitoxins because some pathogens produce toxic substance. And in this one, I want you to calculate the decrease in the number of cases of measles between 2012 and 2015. So we will check the number of cases here and 2015, the number of cases here. So get the difference, please. How many cases? It decreased by what? By how many? If you can see the diagram well. Subtraction, guys. This is 2050. And this one is 100. Exactly, yes. Exactly. Exactly. 100 and 2050. Exactly. Yeah, I think who answered this are Rakan, Anis, Andrea, Sumaya, it's 950. So just one reason for the decrease in number of cases, we can talk about vaccination definitely. This question about antibiotics cannot be used to treat measles because measles is a virus infection or viral infection, so it will not be treated by antibiotic. And we will talk about the idea of gonorrhea and this part next time. Thank you so much for listening. I know in this sheet we have not that much questions on the blood vessels. Yes, exactly, Sophie. But I think we have covered everything during the explanation. Could you please let me know how's the session? Is it easy, hard? We have delivered everything related to the arteries, veins, and capillaries. Yeah, great. Thank you so much all for listening. See you next week. Bye.